Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Disruptive Investing. Okay, we've got a problem, fellow disruptive investors, and it's a big one. It is the problem with when.
What do you mean?
Okay, if I'm the CEO of an auto company, let's say, and I tell investors and customers that the company is about to come out with a new model, how does that usually play out?
I guess you'd bring a prototype or an early production version to a trade show like the LA Auto Show, and then you'd have an unveiling with the press in attendance.
Right. I'd have someone from the design team talk about the new design, maybe someone from the engineering team talking about the new features, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'd say, it's coming to a dealer near you in the fall of 2025. Now, if investors liked what they saw, they might invest more in the company.
Okay, so what does this have to do with the problem of when?
Okay, so we're all so used to this type of incremental product or service announcement that is really easy for us to digest. This new model coming out next year, well, it's still a car after all, right? It just has a slightly different design and a new name.
Okay.
The problem is when we get into disruptive products like, let's say, Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot, our brains have nothing to hold on to. We have no previous model of humanoid autonomous robot to reference. And so just like we talked about on our Patreon investor bonus stories this week, which, by the way, we invite you to join us on our Now You Know Investor Club and hundreds of other smart investors like you over on Patreon at patreon.com/nowyouknow. There you're going to find our weekly investor club bonus stories and our live streams with CEOs and founders and our investor club Slack. But I digress. So over on bonus stories this week, we talked about this now famous case of AT&T. They hired the global consulting company McKinsey & Company in the early 80s to tell them how big the cell phone market was going to be by the year 2000.
And McKinsey's prediction?
After months of research and hundreds of thousands of dollars spent, they predicted that the total market for cell phones would be about 900,000. You could say that this prediction was slightly off the mark.
How off the mark are we talking?
By 1999, 900,000 new subscribers were joining mobile phone services every 3 days. AT&T was forced to buy Macaw Cellular for $12.6 billion in an attempt to re-enter the market that they had screwed up so badly.
Okay, so what was the problem with McKinsey's estimate? I mean, they were a consulting firm whose job it was to research stuff like this. I mean, they had thousands of well-paid employees who were supposed to be experts in their field, and yet they got the number wrong by a factor of 100. McKinsey predicted just 1% of the actual figure. They thought that there would be 900,000 cell customers when it turned out that there would be 109 million cellular customers by the year 2000.
Now, don't get me wrong. What AT&T asked for was no easy question. McKinsey had to predict out over 15 years for technology that basically didn't exist in the early 80s.
So this is the problem of when exemplified.
Yes, but I think I have a solution. You see, I don't think McKinsey imagined the scenario properly. Here's one way they could have done it. They could have made the assumption that the technology would work, that a small wireless device would be able to make phone calls, because basically that's all they did in the year 2000.
Right, they weren't smart yet.
Right. So they could have said, okay, there's this small handheld wireless device that can make phone calls from anywhere. Will people want them? Hell yeah, they will, because please remember that up until the cell phone, communication was no easy matter. We're talking corded phones, pay phones. I mean, the plot lines of many movies revolved around someone needing to answer an important phone call.
Okay, so everyone will want this technology. Is this the kind of technology that will change how business gets done?
Hell yeah, it will.
Will this cell phone technology actually create new businesses?
Hell yeah, it will.
So, I mean, this is going to be a big deal.
Right. It's going to be like a refrigerator or a TV or air travel. And if so, it's going to follow
an S-curve?
Exactly. It's going to be expensive to start, and only early adopters are going to have one. And then there's going to be a lot of infrastructure that's going to have to be built out, cell towers and such, but it's going to grow exponentially. And before long, everyone is going to have a cell phone.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying. Well, that's easy to say in hindsight, Zach, but nobody knew at the time that cell phones were going to be so big.
And to that I say, and why didn't they know that? That's the problem with when. Our brains are developed to handle things on a much slower timescale. For all of human history, up until right now, humans didn't have to see very far into the future of technology because it moved really slowly. But that isn't true anymore. That changed about 2 years ago with the advent of ChatGPT-3. Now things are moving lightning fast. The problem is our brains get hung up with when. If I ask you about something futuristic, like what's going to happen with humanoid autonomous robots?
Well, you start thinking about it and you say, oh, yeah, there'll be like a robot walking around my house, maybe picking up my laundry. Hey, wait, but when's that going to happen? Like, I'll bet it'll take like 10 years before a robot could like pick up my laundry by itself. And like I could even afford a robot in 10 years. So maybe it's like 20 years.
See, that's what happens. You didn't actually let your brain imagine the future reality because you stopped it short with the question of when. As soon as your brain can say, well, that won't happen for a while, it goes back to bed. Brains are naturally lazy. Why do you think we procrastinate so much? It's been a biological advantage to not use precious brain power to work on problems that aren't really problems.
Right, because like if I spend a lot of energy and time and focus thinking about humanoid robots, but I'm not even going to be alive when the first one comes out, then I just wasted a lot of precious resources for no reason. And even though logically you could say, well, just you have a surplus of food and therefore your brain doesn't think that way. Your brain still thinks that I'm like a primitive human living in a cave somewhere, and it goes like prioritize saving resources. Don't think too hard.
Exactly. It's good job, brain, right? Because it's like an appliance that you turn on. It actually uses power. It's like 100 watts of power, right? And you did what resource-savvy brains have been doing for hundreds and thousands of years, except we happen to be alive in 2024, and things are happening really fast now. So here's my hack, disruptive investors. Stop thinking about when. Move the tech you want to imagine to now. Pretend that Tesla released Optimus 6 years ago, okay? And you finally got yours delivered today. There it is. It's in your living room. You unpack it, you read the manual, or you don't. You save the packing materials in case you need to send it back. You charge the batteries, and you power it on. Bloop, 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 bloop. Hello, I am Optimus, and I'm here to serve you. I've come pre-programmed with a 30-day free trial of many useful skills. Would you like me to tidy up this room and then make you dinner?
How do you know what I'd like to eat?
Well, I have all your grocery store and restaurant purchase data for the past 6 years, so I have a pretty good idea. I'll just pop down to the local grocery store and pick up a few items and get cracking in the kitchen. Why don't you go enjoy that new book you bought last month but haven't started reading yet?
How do you know I haven't started reading it yet, Optimus?
You forget. I've read all your social media posts and emails. Remember you checked that little box before you turned me on? All right, so play this out. Like the cell phone, is this going to be a technology that everyone will want? Hell yeah, they will. Will this be a technology that if I took it away from you, you'd punch me in the nose? Hell yeah, you would. Is this going to be a technology that will spark new businesses? Hell yeah, it will. Do you see what just happened? When we get rid of the when, we let our brains enter the now. And when we are in the now, we can truly get down to imagining what this technology will allow us to do. The when just muddies up the whole discussion. The when makes it so we start disagreeing before we get to start imagining what this thing will actually do. How will it affect us? Will it give me more time? Will it save me money? Will it make me happier? Will it make me less human? Will it make me less creative or more creative?
But wait, it won't happen until 2031, and we won't be able to afford it until then. And so
who cares, right? It's not the when that's important. It's the what. If the what is cool enough, if the what is big enough, it will actually affect the when. It will make the when happen sooner. If everyone wants a cell phone, a refrigerator, a microwave oven, then more companies jump into the game and they make the phone, the fridge, or the microwave cheaper, faster, and more people get them sooner. This whole episode was designed to get you to this point. You need to think about Optimus.
What are the possibilities?
What is it going to do for you?
For your family?
For your business?
For our society?
For the world?
It's one of the biggest questions of your life, of my life, of all of our lives, and yet practically nobody is talking about it.
If you are truly a disruptive investor, then you should be spending a lot of time on these questions. Not when, but what. Because I can promise you, at a point in the very near future, Optimus will enter all of our lives, and we had better be ready for it.
Thank you so much for watching Disruptive Investing. If you want to check out more, we have lots more videos. You can go subscribe and check out the channel. We also have a lot more that we talk about over on our Patreon at patreon.com/nowyouknow. If you sign up for the $10 level, that is our Investor Club level, you'll get access to our Investor Club Slack channels, as well as lots and lots of different cool perks that we have over there.
I know. I have already transcribed all of your videos. We'll see you guys next week
on Disruptive Investing.